Welcome. This is the Reflections podcast with me and Ben, and maybe some future other guests every other week. Who knows? Where we will document what we do each week until we have reached our final, maybe a little bit after because of our reflections period.
You never know.
But basically, until we are done with year 2 of acting for stage and screen, when we finish our Romeo and Juliet performance at the Titchfield Barn. Get your tickets on sale. Alright, so
What did we do this week?
so basically for the synopsis this week, we basically focused on completing the prologue of Romeo and Juliet, starting Act 1 and making sure that with our connections program that we're on, that we was able to finish all of the Sad Club songs.
And we made sure that our coursework was done as well.
Yeah, and a lot of coursework as well.
The writing is just as important as the practical.
Yes, it is. All right, so Monday. Monday's kind of a bit of a sticky one.
Well, it was a self-led day, so
Yeah, so Mondays are our self-led days, but it's very important for obviously when other people come in.
yeah. But unfortunately, this week we didn't have many people come in. Well, we had 2 Juliets, 2 Romeos, and a nurse.
Yeah, I think Amber was also in.
Amber
So-
was not.
Yeah, I think she was. So then we had a Lady Capulet as well.
Amber was not in.
Oh.
There was 5 of us that day. Well, there's only 4 at one time because obviously
Yeah,
one of our Romeos came in a bit late, and then one of our Juliets left just as he did.
yeah. But Monday was our self-led day, so we went off into one of the practice rooms that we could go into, and we was just focusing mainly on our lines.
Yeah. I think the main scene I worked on was Act 2, scene either 4 or 5 it might have been.
Yeah.
Because I was running through with one of the Juliets and
Yeah.
just...
Alright,
trying
let
to
me
get
go
the lines
and get
down.
the script real quick. Okay?
Okay.
I will be right back.
Yeah, my main thing was just... You don't have to pause it because they do this in actual podcasts.
Alright, I'll be right back.
So yeah, so I just focused on that scene with one of the Juliets. I believe, yeah, it was Montague Juliet, which is our good friend Carrie Davies, and we just mainly went through that scene trying to get the lines down so that we could when we actually do come to do the scene in rehearsal, just do it a bit more fluidly, so we don't have to just look down a lot. And that was the main thing I focused on during the Monday period. So yeah. But even though we're not supposed to be in on that day, it's very important for us too, because not only does it show our commitment to the process, it also helps us practice more with each other, because there's one thing being at home learning lines by yourself, but then there's another thing being in the same room as the person you're in the scene with, because then you can use the chemistry to really make the scene come to life with the words, even though you don't have the movement just yet. So it's a very important thing that we have to do. Again, not have to, but choose to. Because we all want to be actors, it's the profession we're trying to go into, so we've got to be as professional as can be, even if we're just still learning.
Sorry for that. Sorry for cutting in. Got the script here as well.
Nice.
Ready for us as well. What did you quickly just say?
I just simply talked about what me and the Juliet Montague cast did. Which
Oh,
was
yes.
Our good friend Carrie Davies. And just how we went through the scene, and the importance of us, why we come in on Mondays,
Yeah.
and the importance of chemistry in that Boston scenes.
Yeah, definitely. Chemistry's been a big thing going into this.
So, yeah.
With rehearsals and everything, and obviously the audition period, which was a tough time as well.
What was the main things you tried to get down on Monday?
So on the Monday, I was rehearsing with Rye quite a bit, which is cast Verona for us. I'm
Juliet.
Yeah, so I'm cast Capulet. I'm Romeo for cast Capulet, and then Tybalt for cast Verona.
I'm the nurse for cast Montague. The Paris/Prince, because we've decided to merge the characters, in Cast Verona, and I multi-rolled depending on the night with Capulet,
Yeah.
which means you get me in both characters.
Yeah, no, definitely, because obviously we're separated because we finally got the days now as well, which is quite good. We'll go into that a bit later. But Monday, I was practicing. So a lot of the self-led times over the past rehearsals, which I'm sure we'll get into beforehand, I've been practicing just getting Act 1 down, just kind of nailing that a lot. A lot with Matthew, who's my Benvolio, and Friar Lawrence at times. But
yeah, in Cast Verona.
yeah,
No,
cast
Montague.
Yeah,
And then he's again like
yeah, shifted between the two. Obviously, when two people are characters. But I was literally just with Rye trying to work on Act 2, Scene 2, I believe, which is the goodnight scene after the ball. Act 2, Scene Scene 2, which is where Romeo obviously has his monologue, which is his but soft monologue.
Classic.
His classic monologue to Juliet, and then obviously I was trying to work on the lines with Rye as well for the other pages for when we say goodnight to each other. That's what I was kind of working on Monday, and then kind of just also going through Act 1, Scene 3 with Owen, who's my Tybalt, and just kind of working on that a little short bit before Scene 4, when then they get offered to go to the ball.
Owen is also the Romeo in...
Sorry,
Yeah.
not Scene 3, Scene 4. Romeo's not in Scene 3.
Romeo, Owen is Owen Jordan Norris, another
Yes.
one of my good friends, is also Romeo in Cast Montague.
Yes,
So-
and then there's John Cowell, who is Romeo in Cast Verona as well.
We decided to do 3.
Well, Jimmy decided
Jimmy
to do
decided
3.
to do
Jimmy,
Big
you will
up
see
Jim
this as
Jim.
well.
Way out.
UAL and Jimmy will see this. But yeah, before we go on to Tuesday, did you want to talk about the process with auditions? Because we haven't actually spoken about that.
That's a good point. I mean, the audition process for Romeo and Juliet was, well, we put down our 3 main characters, which
Yeah.
were
Who were your 3 main characters again?
it was Mercutio.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, Romeo, because I didn't think I'd be good for the role, but I thought I'll put myself out there because
Yeah.
you never know.
Mm.
You never know what the casting might think. And Lord Capulet, because I've never really had to act with anger,
Yeah.
which I thought would be really interesting to do.
Okay, yeah.
But when we got to the recalls,
Yeah.
I got recalled for Romeo once,
Yeah.
which didn't go that well. I did get recalled for Mercutio, but
Yeah, you was the earlier scene.
I was the earlier scene for Mercutio. I do wish I got to try
more.
the later scene because
the-
I had a lot of ideas for
Yeah,
that
the
scene.
I am hurt scene.
Yeah, because I thought there was such a way where in that scene, because obviously he's trying to remain like big and strong, because
Yeah.
like in fact he's very toxically masculine,
Yeah.
and I felt as if there's ways you can do that whilst he's trying to portray for his friends, but still ways that I could have shown the audience my pain.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
in subtle moments where I like specifically acting with my eyes. And when I like briefly look away from, say, you are my Romeo.
Yeah, because obviously we've been working on non-verbal communication quite a lot, haven't we?
Yeah, so I really had a set idea for that scene, but unfortunately I didn't get to do it.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, with obviously how casting goes and everything, we kind of have to make sure that we also fit in everyone for the right role.
Yeah.
Because there was a bit like my 3 characters was, my first one was Romeo, and then my second character was Mercutio.
Then it was
No.
Benvolio, wasn't it?
No, my 3 characters. My first one was Romeo. My second character was Benvolio.
Yeah.
And then my third character was, I believe, it was Mercutio.
It was Mercutio. I
It
was going
was
to say Capulet.
because
I
I'd
can't remember
done
properly.
a scene with Mercutio instead of a monologue. Because I'd done a monologue, I'd done a but soft monologue for Romeo. And Volio's speech at the end when he's talking to Prince and the family, saying about when Romeo's obviously going to be banished, but he's like, he killed Tybalt, he slain Tybalt here, and Tybalt who slain the Mercutio.
Yeah.
I done that speech, and then I done the Mercutio scene. You know, the one in the recall where like I was Romeo.
Oh, what the one where he's just like showing up at the ball,
yeah,
and then just you and Makisha having a bit of a laugh.
Yeah, I've done that scene as well. A courteous exposition. That one.
I think the scenes that I did was I did Software You Window Break because
it's a classic.
It's the classic. Romeo Mercutio, I think I did his dying scene, but obviously because I did it by myself with a person who was a part of the casting reading in, I couldn't implement
because obviously
the physicality as much.
Because recalled we was able to like create the scene kind of movement wise, but I mean even so with my recalls I didn't even get a recall from Mercutio at all.
I think that's just because after we saw your Romeo, it was just like bro is in consideration for that. We slide like, the rest of the stuff to
I honestly, and I even spoke to Jimmy about this, Jimmy our professor, I didn't even like I like to say professor, lecturer, teacher, kind of the same thing.
The big G. The
big G, Geneminem as we call him, UAL. But when I obviously put forward into Romeo, I was asking everyone around, especially Anya, who is now Mercutio in the casts. I was on call to her and I was just like trying to get like loads of like information and feedback from people like how I could make it better, because obviously with every role I wanted to make sure I wasn't okay.
You were excellent.
I was excellent.
I wish I had that because maybe I would have got Mercutio.
And one of the things that Anya told me was when I literally was trying to do the monologue for her on the phone was, you hold yourself back too much. Just stop trying to hold yourself back for whatever reason. And I was just like, it's like getting shaky talking about it as well, because it was like such a big moment for me, and it was like
realization.
No, because honestly, because it's like I was so scared going into like the room, because obviously when we got into the room for it, and it was just Jimmy and then obviously the other people on the panel, I was shaking, like my chest was shaking, and obviously when like it was our panel audition for Unit 10, when I obviously done that, and you can see in the video, I sped up a lot, and obviously I just tried to make sure I kept it down a level, but it was like, I just didn't hold back with any of them. But like in the recalls, I didn't get called up for Mercutio, and I was like, oh okay, I mean, I don't know how this is gonna go, because personal preferences. So I was like, okay, my Romeo's okay, because obviously you're gonna doubt yourself. Like, I thought it was good, but I was like, I don't know how good it is compared to everyone, because everyone tried to go for Romeo. And so I was like, I didn't get a recall for, all my recalls were for Romeo, and obviously that quite helped me a bit. But another recall that I got was Lord Capulet. It was his scene with Lady Capulet, and the nurse when they show him Juliet dead. That was the scene that I got recalled for, and I thought I actually done pretty well for it. I think I was able to show the anger quite nice, because then obviously I showed the levels between the soft monologue and then Juliet dying. And obviously I feel like obviously putting that emotion into a Romeo is obviously going to be a big thing as well for me now.
I do think we did the right thing when it came to the role of Capulet, because
like,
obviously he's an important character, but we did make it so that he was a secondary character to a main character. Yeah. Because that's how we done it with double casting. If you're a main character in one show, you're a secondary character. Yeah. Like how my main character is the nurse. Yeah. But in the other show, I'm Prince / Paris, because we make them into the same character. But I agree with you. Almost, I wish I thought more like you did during the preparation for the audition, because like, I read through everything, I got ready for it, but I don't think I should have tried a bit more, and that's definitely what I need to do for the next time I need to audition. I need to really think about it.
Go out with 110%.
Go out with 110% instead of, God, at best I'll give myself about 89.
I mean, obviously you can be honest with it, and obviously now that you've obviously seen the repercussions from it, but like, from like, obviously, this being our first actual week of Romeo and Juliet from rehearsals, we've obviously looked at the script before and like tried to like read in and like with the cuts and stuff. Are you actually happy with the nurse now? Because obviously we've done our contemporization of PowerPoint slides and everything.
Because I do think Jimmy made the right decision.
Yeah.
Because the main thing, the reason I wanted Mercutio was because obviously in class I'm seen as
jokey,
like the clown, the class clown, pretty much. Yeah, and like there was a thing that I did at the interviews that we did with Polly after Monster Call. She said she wanted me to see more of that in the character.
Yeah. So
I thought I could do that really well with Mercutio because even though he dies, but that adds more power to the character. But through the rest, he is
this big character.
This big character who's just trying to have a laugh.
3 acts, he's huge.
He's just on it.
Yeah.
But because it was in my first audition that he suggested the nurse to me, and I wasn't sure because obviously it's a female character, and I was like,
you don't really want to.
I didn't want to be presented as that because I thought because the way I looked at it was he wanted to treat me like a dame in a panto.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not. It's not that like I didn't really like that idea much, but as I like, and the scene he made me do, it was like because when you look into the character, she is equally as comical as Mercutio. She just has a lot less of the tragedy behind her.
Yeah.
Well, obviously she does because
she's a lot more maturity as well. So
Yeah.
like, she keeps everything settled.
Like, you know, when she tells a joke, she tells it purely to cheer somebody up. When Mercutio does it just to do it.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't.
Like that's his personality.
It's like he has to tell a joke.
Yeah.
Where she tells the jokes in like to either tease Juliet or to try and make Juliet happier.
Yeah.
But because she's such a more complex character than I thought she originally was. Because it's an Act 2, Scene 4, I think, which is where the nurse confronts Romeo. There's a real shift in how she acts in that scene because she's very protective of Juliet and she wants to make sure that Romeo isn't like some creep who just wants to use her.
Yeah. Because then obviously she goes after Romeo and says like, what are your intentions?
She sizes him up, basically.
She's like, what are your intentions?
And then once I realised that, I thought, no, that is a good character because even though, and when Jimmy said, I'm playing it as a man, it's just like, there are so many examples of father figures who have like dad jokes and all that.
Yeah.
But when the going gets tough,
you are
they
that protective.
get going.
You are that protective figure.
Yeah, so I am happy with the outcome, but I still would, if I ever got an opportunity in the future, where I could,
something to like always go into for next mindset and improve on.
I would like to improve on how I prep for the audition process, and if I got to be Mercutio, I'm sure I'd lead in a different direction. Yeah. And then with Paris and Prince, like he's just kind of there. Like the Prince, like he's such.
No, he is a big role though.
He's an important role, but like. He's in the beginning, middle, and end when things happen. Like he shows up after the first fight, he shows up after Mercutio and Tybalt die, and then he shows up to close the play. Like it's a big character, but that's all he is. He's to show the audience where we are. Yeah. And then Paris is like.
Yeah, how do you feel about the? Because I've obviously just thought like heavily into this and over the last few weeks. Obviously, Paris and Prince are now merged together into the one character, but it's like Prince is also a love interest for Juliet, but Paris is the love interest for Juliet, but Prince is this authoritarian person that separates them, but you've got to merge them in both and play. It's like it's kind of like going against morals.
That's the thing that I originally thought when the idea was pitched to me. Like, I just didn't think it would work. Yeah. Because, like, Prince is completely a neutral character. Yeah. And then Paris is, like, he's got no beef with the Montagues, but he wants to be with the Capulet, so it makes him...
one-sided.
It makes him one-sided. It makes his opinion, shift closer to the Capulet's, views and goals. Yeah. So I just thought it wouldn't really work. But then, like... after a bit of convincing that no, he's a neutral character. Yeah. I still going into it. I still don't believe that he is. But I can act around it because obviously all the interactions he has with Juliet and the Capulet family, they're inside their house.
Yeah.
It's very closed off. So when he's outside during those scenes that he, like the beginning, middle, and end, when something's happened, he's outside. So he's, I would say he's in work mode.
Yeah.
But when he's in a private
Trying
place,
to be a person, he's trying to.
when he's in a private place, he's more genuine with how he feels. So I think it works like that. And in the first scene, it was one of his
your monologue.
Yeah,
separate the fight.
The first speech in the entire show.
How long even is that?
It's not too long. It's not bad at all. But like, because obviously we cut a section. We cut a section out of it, so like up to there is gone. But it's just there's a line at the bottom of it where it's like, Capulet, you come along with me, Montague.
Yes.
You come this
that one there.
Yeah, can you come this afternoon or something like that? Yeah, come you this afternoon. Like when he says Capulet, go along with me. Like obviously in the context of this, you think he's like, okay, I'm going to talk to you about what you've done and the reason. But then the next scene that we see, like Prince Paris in, they're talking about him marrying Juliet. So that means that's why he wanted to go off with him first. So it does. It kind of tracks when you think about it. Yeah. And I think it's fun because obviously Paris dies at the end.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's the least most.
Good luck with that
he's the least impactful death of the entire show. Because before reading into the character, I didn't know that he died. Because so many iterations cut it.
And obviously with our cut version, we have cut a decent.
We've cut a decent bit.
A decent chunk, I'd say. But we did keep in the Paris death.
The Paris and Romeo fight, and I have ideas for that because obviously, I mean, it goes against the idea of the prince, who is a very authoritarian and powerful character. Yeah. But I want his death to be as pathetic as possible.
See, that's my thing as well, because I've obviously shared my
opinion.
Because it's like, with our contemporization, and obviously we're now kind of on the verge from, instead of going from the sword route, we're now going for like the knife route, and obviously with knives.
Because there's a lot more knife crime nowadays.
Not a lot knife crime with gang violence, and obviously all those themes that we're now putting into our contemporization. Guns are obviously still involved. And how I really want it is obviously at the end of the play when obviously Romeo comes back from Mantua and he's trying to go into the tomb to kill himself.
And I stop you.
And you stop me and you're like, oh, yeah, what are you doing here? Let's fight. And obviously I would really want all that part to be cut. And then, because obviously your final words is, oh, bury me next to my love Juliet in the tomb where she lies. And then obviously he drags him in and that happens. I really want to change that. And obviously either with knife crime or like gun violence, I would literally just love for him to go, if he just like, oh, why are you here?
I think it would be not how I see it being as like he wants to fight for his love, and like as soon as Paris like goes to like swing at him with his knife, you like parry my arm, just stab me in the stomach, I go down.
Yeah, because like it was either like with the knife crime or like the thing is just like you make like this like judgment speech of like to Romeo's just like, I'm here to love her, and like obviously Romeo's already married her at this point. But he's like, I'm here to love her, I want to be with her, and now she's gone. And I just want him to be like, oh, I just want to lie next to my love Juliet, and Romeo to just go, no, and just shoot him.
Yeah, that's how because I understand, like, because we're going up to the most impactful tragedy bit of the play.
Yeah.
So I think doing that because it plays with the idea of death. Like, death doesn't necessarily, because in the eyes of the audience, he is a villain, because he's trying to get in the way of, like, your love.
Yeah.
So it could be funny to show how feeble he really is. Or, like, somebody in such a high position of power is all talk.
Yeah.
Because in the entire thing, he doesn't intervene by, like, breaking up a fight. He intervenes by shouting. And, like, that's all all talk. So I do think it is a good idea, just me doing my, like, you have slewn my loves.
Yeah, just cut all of Romeo's lines. Obviously, or keep them depending on like what the dramaturgs say.
You have slewn my love's household, and then I run at you. You just stab me, and I just go down. Yeah. And then I just go, oh, lay me with my love, lay me with Juliet, and then you just go, no,
just no, and just finish it off in a different style.
Yeah.
But, that's what I really, really would love for that scene as well. But back on track with the lines.
Yeah, we went on a little tangent, but you know it's important because we're talking about the process.
Definitely. But obviously I asked about the Rico audition. Obviously, you getting your parts that you have now, and obviously being able to be the nurse, and obviously you contemporising it. That's obviously a big thing. And then obviously your characters now, and I'm kind of going through the same thing between Romeo and Tybalt.
It's a complete.
I'm literally the complete opposite. It's literally, they are so far apart and like they are so far switched around in a life circle. I now need to figure that out. And it's like, obviously during like the like prologue and stuff like that we're gonna get to, how I originally wanted it to be. So I now have Gregory as well from the Act 1. Because obviously when I'm off my off night in Cast Montague, I will play ensemble. I'll be in the ensemble, plus I will be Gregory.
That just reminded me of how when we were first given the script, we talked so highly of a really just not important character, Peter.
Yeah.
And we cut him, and honestly,
it upset everyone.
It was the saddest thing, but to keep his memory, the nurse's name is canonically Peter. No one will call me Peter in any of the shows.
But in our hearts.
But I think we convinced Jimmy on the
posters, when it's got all the names and headshots, Peter, then brackets, the nurse.
No, Nurse Peter, but they just call me Nurse.
Yeah, that's also good. But it's like...
The programme is what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
It's in the programme, Ben Reeves as Nurse Peter.
Nurse Peter, love that.
/ Prince Paris.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's going to be a great one. But with Romeo and Tybalt, obviously with Romeo, I'm going for the very... With the, obviously, adaptations, I'm going for the very loveful route. I don't really, in my personal opinion, I don't really like the whole lust into Juliet. That's not how I see his story fit, and that's not how we're trying to make it.
Yeah, because it is at first, but bro switches quick.
This is what I've written in my specialist study essay. Get to that as well. But I do think at the start of the Capulet Ball, Romeo does lust Juliet.
Yeah, because that's when he sees her.
Like he sees her, and then like obviously in the Baz Luhrmann film, the 1996 film, they see each other, then they walk off, and then she starts to go off of Paris and dance, and then he's like, she's just like, even though I'm seeing her with another person, she is literally this divine beauty.
Bro is flabbergasted.
He is speechless, and then obviously he walks up to and says, "Do I profane with my unworthiest hand the holy shrine, the gentle fine is this?" He's generally just like, you are so beautiful, and it's just like, I do think he's lusting there. And then I think as the night goes on, and then like he leaves Benvolio and Mercutio to then go and see her, and then he's like talking down to like Mercutio, like, oh, he just that scars I never felt a wound, because he's like, he's never felt true love like this, because like he's like, lusting was like, I think this is more than lust. And then he goes to her and he says like his big monologue, and then I think by the time he says this monologue, the ideology of lust is gone, and Romeo genuinely loves Juliet at this point. And then he's so forced, because then as soon as that monologue ends and they say goodnight, it's on to, he will go on to his ghostly father's cell, Friar Lawrence, where he will ask to wed.
Yeah.
So then I think that's more than just lust, that is love.
Because that's the thing, like when you, in real life, like when you look at a girl and you can be like, obviously this is very man-sided,
yeah,
because we are men. Like you look at a girl and you go, damn, she is beautiful.
Yeah.
But you don't look at her and be like, damn, I want her to
yeah,
be my wife.
Because you don't know nothing about her.
That takes, obviously normally in a regular relationship it will take long to get there.
Yeah.
But marriage is never the thing you think of first.
No. But it's like with Romeo, he's like, it's like he's almost set on straight away. He wants to be with Juliet for the rest of his life.
Yeah, like he wants to grow old with this girl. He wants to have a family with this girl. Bro doesn't want to.
And like he even says that to the nurse. He's generally going to marry.
Yeah, he doesn't want her just for her body.
Yeah, no.
He wants just to be with her, and that is beautiful.
Oh yeah, no, for sure, definitely.
Because there's the thing with young love with that, like how it's so frail, but
so like powerful, meaningful to the people that are in it.
But the thing is, stuff like that does happen.
Oh yeah,
like,
no, for sure.
You see people who've like got together in school and they've made it to when they're like, what, 70s?
Yeah.
Literally until one of them dies.
like I've got family members that like were together for like 50, 60 odd years from like when as soon as they turn like 15 to like next door neighbours.
Literally, it's
like that whole thing with Romeo is great, and then I gotta find the switch to play Tybalt.
yeah.
And it's just like he then values Romeo as nothing but a villain, and it's like all he talks about is Romeo as a villain, and it's like being able to switch is hard, but it's also fun.
Yeah, I bet, because it's such an interesting parallel to be like, so, because literally the two themes of the characters are theme, not a theme. The two themes of the characters are theme. The two themes are love,
Yeah,
and then it's complete juxtaposition, hate.
yeah,
And like, it's such an interesting switch.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to see how you develop that character.
yeah. No, I do wish I had more time with Tybalt though on stage as well.
He's been given such a raw deal with like
Yeah,
just in general. He's
like
one of the
don't get me
characters you
wrong.
think of.
We think Tybalt probably has like 18, 19 lines, and he's in like coverage of like 2-3 scenes until like up until he dies. Where like he's literally in the starting scene, the ball, and then the confrontation with his death.
Literally, for one of the most influential characters, we don't see him much.
No, and I wish I had that more time, because like with the time I have, I'm gonna make him as impactful and to show this vulgar hatred towards the Montagues. But I just wish I got more to like expand with him. But obviously, in substitute of that, I will obviously be doing that as part of the ensemble when I die, which obviously I'm grateful for, because I've still been character.
Big up, we both die.
Right. I die in all 3 shows, buddy.
I die.
Oh, I die in all 3 casts.
I died 50%.
Yeah, but I am looking forward to how I will obviously expand Tybalt as well, because obviously I feel like the thing that I've obviously needed most work on in my career is movement, and with Romeo, he's all talk. He's all talk and speech with his actions.
Where Tybalt's much
Much more body language,
Yeah.
because like even though he doesn't speak much, his physicality is so standing out and flamboyant. Like everyone notices him, and it's like I can't wait to try and dig that into myself, because then that'll help me loads as well. But
Yeah.
like that's a big thing.
That's the thing. Like I'm looking forward to, like with Prince Paris.
Yeah,
Is because whenever I get told about my acting, it's like I'm very good with like emotional recall, and
yeah,
I'm really able to put myself in the mindset of my characters.
yeah.
But with him, we know nothing.
No.
We know he doesn't even love Juliet. He lusts.
Who?
Paris.
Yeah.
He lusts for Juliet because he's like, she'll get me even more power because I'll be in this family. That's his entire thing. So he doesn't actually love her, and so there's no much emotion there.
Yeah.
So I really have to figure out how I'm going to develop his character.
Yeah, and I feel like that's just
Which
literally
is
trial
just a
and error.
good challenge. I
A
think.
good challenge and trial and error, literally. Just got to try and get through it. But that's literally us trying to get through our lines on the Monday, because it's like just reading these lines go into these tangents of these big things and how we are supposed to play these characters. And obviously we talk about that loads in our essay as well, on how we're going to try and do this. So, and that's literally all down to research, trial and error, rinse and repeat. Because the more the more we know it and the more we're fond of it, that's the only way it's going to get better. But Tuesday morning, obviously we was in the morning.
That was a pure context day from us, right?
Pure context day. Yeah, it was literally just pure context day, working on our Unit 11 specialist study essays and then
just
one-to-ones with Jimmy about our websites.
About websites,
Our
that
portfolios.
Yeah. Did you get any? What did Jimmy say to you about your progression so far with your?
So obviously I just kind of stay to my headspace for my essay during the context lesson, try and get it done. Because obviously my essay is about the exploration of Romeo, and obviously how I can adapt him in all these different versions, because I've watched quite a lot. Like the 2021 National Theatre version, during lockdown they filmed it, the 1996 Baz Luhrmann, like all the original copies and stuff like that, which obviously we've been grateful to have National Theatre and Digital Theatre for.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm going for my essay. But then when Jimmy called me up to do my portfolio, went through it with me, obviously just trying to mark, make sure it was okay and everything. And Unit 9, solid, got that all down, got started the year down pretty well. Wasn't much feedback on that, but Unit 10 was the one that obviously got a little bit of the feedback for. It was literally like, it was nothing bad because I'd done everything to a great extent. It was literally, I can just add more detail into stuff. And to be honest, with some of the stuff they'd done, like we'd done it before we even joined. It was literally just research ahead. But obviously now that I've done that research and I'm doing all this stuff, like going and like applying for like drama schools and stuff, it's a lot easier now to write about it now. So going back to it and going back to like that Unit 10 portfolio is going to be much more easier. But that's pretty much all it is. Just add more detail to stuff.
That's the thing with Unit 10 though, because I feel like we were all in the same boat for it when it came to the writing, because whilst we were doing Unit 10, obviously we had other things going on.
Yeah.
Like, I swear during Unit 10, whilst we were starting to do Unit 10, we were still in the process of finishing off a lot of filming for Unit 9.
Yeah.
And then obviously we have SAD Club rehearsals on top of that, so I feel like
every Thursday morning.
whenever, like, obviously we learned our monologues, we rehearsed them, we did them fine, and then when we got to the panel, we auditioned with them. But I feel like because of everything else that was going on, they never seemed like the main thing. And that tracks because we never thought about, like, me personally, I did not think about writing about it or at all.
Yeah.
During the process, but luckily, when I did come to write about it, I knew my plays well enough where I was able to talk about them.
Yeah, because it's like, especially when I done mine, like doing all my character and play research, it took a hell of a lot of time. But like, the reason it took a lot of time is because I knew it so well. It's like just from that one monologue, I knew both my contemporary and classical. So I was very grateful for that.
Yeah, I was lucky with my classical that I literally chose probably the most important monologue in the play.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's Henry V, and it's literally the backed into a corner by the French army, and this is his final.
Not the Spanish, no.
No, not the Spanish. I fixed that. I didn't fix it. I put it as a little.
Yeah.
I put it in quotation marks. I was wrong.
Yeah.
But no, like they're getting pushed back by the French. They're thinking that they're going to lose the war, but then he gives this big speech, and then
St. Crispin's Day.
St. Crispin's Day, yeah, and he's able to inspire his army, and then they win.
Yeah.
And then I just related with Ben from obviously
Rails.
Yeah, like Ben because he's called Ben from Rails. But it's just because like I read the play, and when it came to every character, I found I could find more like emotional relevance in him.
Yeah.
Because he has such strong feelings, but he doesn't show them.
Yeah.
Like they're all very set in his mind, and as actors, half the time we have to project those emotions to the audience so that they know them. But I feel like with his character, you play it subtle.
Yeah.
And so you convey the message that he wants to give and the emotions that he wants to show, but also show through minor things the emotions that he doesn't want you to know, but they're still always there.
Yeah, that's like kind of like the thing with like mine though, because like obviously my contemporary was Concentra by Evan Placey. I was literally Act 1, Scene 1. So like not many lines into it, my monologue is it when I play Freddy, and it's literally like his monologue is literally like kind of the opposite. It's literally saying all of this stuff to his old teacher to get her to listen. Like all of these emotions that like people are like try and like not project but show is the opposite. He's telling the entire story of what's happened to him over the last 5 years that they haven't seen each other through school, and it's like it then because of the monologue you don't get to see what happens after, and it's like what happens after is obviously a big thing with how the story played out, because obviously he feels like his teacher when he was in school groomed him, and it's kind of like from the monologue you don't get that.
Yeah.
But like obviously when you read the 5 seconds before, 5 seconds after, you will understand the fact that one, he's trying to get her attention, and so he speaks about the terrible stuff that's happened, and then 5 seconds after he then like says, so why did you do it? And then they go into this big heated argument about like because they both feel like one groomed another kind of thing. It was kind of like playing table tennis. They both went back and forth with the same result but not the same evidence kind of thing.
That's why it's always important to make sure no matter what, like even if you do the most famous monologue that everybody knows,
Yeah.
they know the context of it,
Yeah.
they know why it's been said. You still need to know the play.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
So that you can understand every little detail of that character.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. Because the monologue that I chose from Ben is pretty early on. Like, I think before that monologue, he has like maybe 10 lines where he's just talking to his brother before he goes to work, which the monologue takes place
Yeah.
in. But after that scene, you see so much more of him as an individual.
Yeah.
And like why he feels the way he feels, how he wishes he didn't, how he regrets the actions these emotions have made him feel.
Yeah.
And then when you finally see him get to his breaking point when his brother gets his arm ripped off by the train
Yeah.
because it's rails,
Yeah.
you really show the true side of him, the person that he would be if he wasn't held back by such emotions.
Yeah.
And I think I talked well enough about that on my website, because I think Unit 10 was the only thing I got talked on. Because Unit 9, I had a lot more goods and excellence on the grading,
Yeah.
but after me and Jimmy went through it, he like changed to 2,
Yeah.
and I was like, yay!
Yeah.
And yeah, there was nothing wrong with it, and like, what was it? Yeah, there was nothing wrong with that. But with Unit 10, like, I got like 1 excellent and all the rest were goods. But I think I did what I did justice, considering how I was behind with it, because I didn't think about writing for it much. But I think I did what was right, and I think the reflection helped show how, even though there was little evidence of me building the character, that I did understand.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And that's kind of just like the big thing. It's kind of like that showing evidence. And that leads on to Wednesday, was when we started off with our context lesson. Because obviously when we started with our context lesson, I literally just got my head down and just continued to put more evidence in my Unit 10. Like I added my subtext monologue performance of when I tried to contemporize Troilus' speech from Troilus and Cressida, which was obviously my classical speech. And loads of other work, like making our mark when like we had like the tape, you know, and then was going around the room trying to like do our movement. And I didn't really like that though, because it was like it didn't feel natural.
It feels restricting.
Yeah, because it's like you feel like you have to move. That's the problem. You feel like that's what I had. I felt like I had to move with this, like with like the tape and going through my speech. I felt like I had to move, and I just felt restricted, and it just didn't flow naturally. I feel like that's what my problem was.
Yeah, because with that, it's like when you have a character, they're a human being, and also every time you move, you have to have purpose for it.
Yeah.
But then, as human beings, like I find myself like today, whilst we were in rehearsal, like in between us doing like scenes, I was just wandering around, just doing nothing. I was just waddling around this space because that's what humans do. Whilst we're in thought, we just move, and that can just happen. Like I just was walking about.
Yeah.
But obviously, I moved. Well, I thought I had to. But any other movement, I just did as the character probably would have.
Yeah. But that's literally all I did for the Wednesday Wednesday start, which was literally just the website.
Yeah, I focused on my essay that day.
But then in the afternoon, obviously, then we took the initiative.
The prologue.
We started to actually do the scene for the prologue, and obviously, if I get up here. Being the
it is truly amazing. I think how we have so much in this little bubble. Like this is a bubble.
Yeah.
Like, it's before this bubble even starts.
Like you can obviously you can see like the lines, and like I've started writing down stuff for like the following scene as well. That's because most of it's there. I've still got more stuff to write on for it, but that's because I'm my production was the stage manager obviously, and that's what I've done for my first year. I was the stage manager for our FNP Monster Calls then, and obviously I thought I'd done pretty well at that. I took initiative and I got well round to everyone. So I thought I'll do it again this year. And obviously, it is just so, like, even then, like, the dialogue's so compact for, like, just those, like, obviously, those 15 lines.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, there's so much to do. Like, we've incorporated, like, a lift, a trustful, movement pieces. And it's like, it's just
Right.
So incredible how well we've got together.
Honestly,
during the start of this.
props to Jimmy with his ideas for this opening scene.
Oh yeah.
Because his directorial vision for that, it was really good. Because I feel like a lot of us, we were doubtful when you said we're gonna do like have a lot of movement, because we were like,
yeah, because
we did that for Inspector on Monster Calls,
yeah,
and we wanted it to be. We didn't want to do that again.
yeah.
But I feel with what we've done, with what we did on Wednesday, like we really trusted the process, because obviously we had a completely different director back then.
Yeah,
and they're both views of movement can be completely different.
Yeah, and it's like we only got up to on Wednesday the bit where we focused on the Juliet lift. So the best way to like describe this is literally just like we started off so ominously, like obviously standing at the back of the theatre, and obviously I think that's all right. It's obviously just working away from the space when we're in Titchfield, I think, because obviously they've got like the land, they've got the doors and stuff. It's literally how we're getting on. It's like, are we walking on, or are we backstage with our mics whilst Friar Lawrence starts and goes onto the balcony? Like that's all stuff that I just want to explore from when we're actually in the theatre. But it's like switching out in between casts and obviously like that, and finding your place in another casts is good. And obviously we're gonna start off with like Friar Lawrence coming onto the balcony, Romeo and Juliet coming out, him controlling their breath because like he knows what's gonna happen. And it's like then obviously us as the ensemble like crawl out from like being all bunched up together, seeing this beauty and amazement, and then we link that with Romeo. It's like that's how Romeo is first introduced. He thinks of Juliet as wonderful and amazement, and then obviously we split, go down the route, go over to Romeo's side, and then that attracts the maturity of Juliet's presence.
It is fascinating, because I don't think I thought about this until today, but like when we see the journey we take before the first line is said, it's literally you two breathe, like you and Juliet come out, you breathe, you're precedented, like these are the two main figures of this show.
Yeah.
But then there's like Friar Lawrence, who is in place of God, guiding not only you guys but everyone else. It's like the idea of fate, that everything is controlled. And then when us, the ensemble, come out, like we look into the distance, and then we start smiling, and that's like that kind of shows Romeo's first view of Juliet, like amazement, like wow, she's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And then like when we look at you, we're like, oh, we've just found out she's a Capulet, and then that makes things difficult. And then we walk around, and then when we get into the clump again and we look and we smile again, we're like, it was like, I imagine that is like, that's us viewing the wedding.
Yeah. And
then when we recoil in fear, that's the death of Mercutio.
Yeah.
And then the catch with that, when Juliet runs and jumps into us, that's when she drinks the potion.
Yeah.
And then when we let her down, that's like, she's actually fine, she's alive, but like it was a facade. It was a thing.
Then obviously we stare up, but obviously that's where we got to in that first day.
Yeah, that's what we got to, but what how we finished it was like all of us holding the position.
Yeah, holding us the position, and like she escapes.
Which shows like the people of Verona's thought of this is her death.
Yeah.
But then
sorry, we are back. Had a little bit of
technical difficulty, but you know it happens to the best of us.
But yeah, so we was talking about when Julia gets lifted up, that's her drinking the poison.
Yeah, and then when, like, because we got up to that point on Wednesday, but when we put her back down, we leave the impressions of her hands on her body.
Yeah.
And then she moves out of it, and I was just thinking how it's like that's the view of her.
Yeah.
That is her dead, but then she's on the outside looking in, be like, no, I'm not. I'm still alive. You just know I am.
Yeah, and it's just her looking at her body, and that was so fun to do.
Yeah, it was.
Obviously, I wasn't there for the lift warm up, so for the first time I'm to do it and then be the bass, I was like, all right, this looks like a lot of responsibility.
It is, because you have to make sure they don't crack their skull open.
But I think I've done my during it.
Yeah, it's because your raw strength. And then I was closest to you.
Yeah,
which
you
means
was on my right side.
I was on your right, and because how it goes is, because from the initial bit of the lift, because obviously it starts with the then running jump, they put their hands on your shoulders to get the kick up. then they lift their legs. But after that, the majority of the mass
Is holding.
is her propping herself onto you, you holding her up, and then like say me and the person across from me taking up the rest of the torso and the upper thigh, which is like all the rest of like the big bits of mass on the person. So it was cool, and I do think I need to get a bit stronger to make sure that I'm fully
That's
supported.
always something to improve on though. During we've got like a few weeks.
We've got a long time.
But that's what we've done on Wednesday. That was a really fun day, starting off the prologue.
And then Thursday we had to take a break from it to do Take a break. Had
Sorry,
to,
Hamilton moment.
had to take a day off because of Sad Club rehearsals.
Yeah, so obviously we've got the Sad Club in March and April, so we're doing obviously the full day rehearsals. And we managed to finish all the songs now as well. And then obviously we finished up on the final song being the reprised song of the starting line.
Because there's 4 baritones,
Yep.
which were both parts, so half of the baritones. And as usual with those last songs, we picked up quite easily. So
we've actually really adapted to the songs quite well.
We've done quite well, I think, with the lower range of it. And yeah, I think when it comes to singing wise, we're definitely ready. We just need to get our lines down.
Yeah, I definitely need to make sure something to improve on it is my lines. Because obviously I'm literally opener of it, and so I was like, I need to learn my lines. Craig says a lot, but that was just going to come in with due time. It's not too bad.
Yeah.
My scene's already been staged as well.
That's the thing, because with those days, they're so stop and start because they have to like teach each individual group their thing. So it's like it's hard to keep focused.
Yeah.
But I think that's the thing to improve on.
Yeah.
Like once we have everything ready and laid out, I think being able to get through the entire thing will be quite easy because it's not a complicated piece of script.
Yeah, no. It's definitely just something that just needs to be worked on, literally. But obviously today being Friday, end of the week, was kind of, I think, probably our biggest day.
Yeah, most productive, and I'd say kind of the most fun. I had a lot of fun today.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. We started off today with our obviously production meeting.
Should we say our production rules?
Obviously, I said earlier, I'm a stage manager and assistant director. So I help with obviously making sure everyone gets around and then talking through and directing scenes.
And I'm doing music because I've done music for every show that we've done so far.
Yeah.
And it's always turned out alright just because I have a bit of a musical background.
Yeah.
As I can sing, I can play an instrument, I understand a decent amount about music theory. So it's just kind of my expertise.
Yeah.
I also put my name, I'm also doing lighting, which I'm gonna trust because there's multiple people doing each.
I helped a lot with lighting last year being a stage manager, and everyone has your back for it and all that.
The reason I chose lighting is because when we did devising, I wasn't in charge of lighting, but
you still contributed.
I feel like I had a lot of contribution and ideas for it, so I'd like to see if I can do that again.
Yeah.
Mindfulness leader, which because everyone doesn't think that that's a great idea, but when it comes to like things
actually go wrong,
when it comes to mental health, I am decent.
Yeah, when things go wrong,
with other
you've
people,
got someone there.
So in case anyone has anything difficult going on, and yeah, that's about it. I mean,
Yeah.
we're all kind of, because I know people like allocated acting coaches, but considering the type of class we have with acting coaches, we're all acting coaches because we all call each other out.
Yeah, true. But a lot about today was literally just to make sure that we start advertising tickets. So we're getting posters in check now. We've obviously been in touch with some people, and obviously people from our course have been in touch with people to try and get that going.
Stuff will be going more up on UB Productions, which is the production company we've made.
Production company for the course UB Productions. We've got Instagram, we've got YouTube, and we've got a TikTok account. We're going to start posting up on there.
4 videos up on the YouTube already. Silent films we've been firing the year. Anyways,
so check them out. And then obviously, the main thing that finished off the production meeting was obviously the casting days.
Yeah, we figured out, because that was when we figured out exactly what cast we had. Because obviously on the cast list it said what you were, which was the
it
Capulet
obviously
cast.
just went Montague, Capulet, Verona.
But I had no idea how I was getting split up. But it's good to know that I am the Montague Nurse, the Verona Paris, and then for Capulet, I'm whatever I need to be on the night.
Yeah, so obviously...
So it's like a 50-50 thing between me and Zach Westmore.
Yeah, so obviously with the 7 shows that we're doing, 7 shows that we're doing,
Cheeky.
They're all pretty split up well. I'm Romeo twice, then Tybalt 3 times, then obviously John's Romeo 3 times, Tybalt twice, then same with Owen.
How do you feel about that? That you only get to be your main role twice compared to the other Romeos.
I mean, Owen also only gets to be it twice.
Oh really? So it's just Johnny.
Just John and Ryan that gets performed 3 times. But I don't know. I mean, it's all up to how the director wanted to split it. And obviously, done it in 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, then 1. So that's kind of how he done it. And obviously, not everyone can get through it all. Can't be split into 9 shows, unfortunately, because then I'll obviously need some other groups to perform more than others. But I mean, I'm still grateful that I still get to perform as Romeo, anyways. And even in the 2 shows that I do, I'm going to make sure that it's going to be the best one.
Yeah,
But that's pretty much all we've done for the production meeting. And then obviously
the rest of the day was
finish off the prologue and start scene 1 in Act 1.
Yeah, because we started off the rehearsal just purely going through what we'd already done. Make sure each cast is comfortable with it, like what they have to do when they're not the main characters and when they are, and then we just continued from there. And I think it was really nice how we continued from doing it, because we break out into that circle and we see Romeo, and then the way we walk over is quite fluid and nice as we got into the thing as Romeo's about to drop, and then that obviously that symbolizes him taking that leap of faith whilst drinking the potion, the poison at the end. And the catch was like, it had me nervous at first, but I think the more reason it had me nervous was because, not to boost my own horn, when it comes to strength in the class, you, me, and Owen are the strongest.
And 2 of them are Romeo.
Yeah, and 2 of you are Romeo, so that means you can help me on one and another thing. But originally, I was supporting the head, which is like, I shouldn't do that because I should carry the majority of the mass. And it's not like I'm calling other people weak. Yeah. But the reason, like,
you want to support more.
I want to support more because I know I can, because a big thing is mass moves mass, and mass holds mass, and because I'm a larger and heavier individual, I'm more sturdy, which means if say if one of the others were to like drop you a bit, I could carry the load easier than I have less. Like, obviously my arms would shake and eventually give out, but I have more chance of remaining in that position because your weight would not crush my weight. Yeah, but
I really like how we finished up the prologue today of obviously Romeo taking that leap of faith backwards from the balcony to then Ensemble catching them laying down, and then Juliet coming over and then starting the actual prologue speech. That's just the movement.
The drop on it is like, it shows it, like when because obviously you and Juliet already on the floor, and then how does the
and then
he goes
2
households, everyone drops, so it's just the significance.
Who tell the prologue is obviously the Friar, Mercutio, and Tybalt, and that's because they die. So there's like telling the story
as well, but who cares about him?
Obviously, that's how we've done it through the allocated people. But I really like that, and obviously, I do think we need to work on transitions a lot smoother going into Act 1, Scene 1 with Samson and Gregory.
Yeah, well, we've just
sorted it out.
Smoothing it over will come with time.
Yeah, but I definitely think that this week's been very productive, and I've enjoyed the heck out of it.
I've enjoyed the bits of Romeo and Juliet quite a bit. I mean, I'm sure my back is going to hate me.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. But I feel like a lot of my strength this week has come down to taking control of myself and being able to make sure that I can do that with others.
Yeah.
Because obviously being Romeo and all that, that's a big thing to put on my shoulder. As well as me choosing to be a stage manager, I've put myself up for quite a heavy burden. I feel like for the first week, I've taken control quite well and gone round with everyone and make sure everything's been solidified quite well.
Yeah, I think one of my biggest strength for this week is like working collaboratively. Yeah. Because during the entire, especially when we were doing the lifts, because normally because it's a big bit of feedback I've always gotten, I need to show my ideas more. But when we were doing the lifts, I know Anya took charge, but that's rightfully so because she's more experienced with it and choreographer. But when it came to the people in the huddle, I was like I was talking to you
Yeah.
about how a bass works.
Yeah, because
And what you needed to do. And then I was like, with Matthew and like the people directly next to me, I was telling them how and what they should do. So I think I did a lot better presenting ideas and taking a bit more charge.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
While still being a part of it and being collaborative. And like it was a bit that we did today, which like I don't think I would have done any other time like last year, which was when literally I know it was bad because we kind of interrupted what Jimmy was going on, but the two of us walked over to the ledge and we were talking about how, because originally that was when we thought they were going to fall from the balcony.
Yeah.
So we were literally talking about
No.
but
No.
if it had to be,
It would have to be
potentially, if they had to fall, potentially how they could fall to make it easier on the people catching.
Yeah.
With the momentum, which like kind
And
of.
I do think what we've gone for is what we need. Like we need like that like balcony, then
the lower structure.
going onto a lower structure ledge to then do it. I think that's how we need to do it.
And
then again, sort of trust and make sure that we'll do it, because I'm working on my improvement and strength to make sure that I can do my job as well.
yeah.
But I feel like something that I have needed to improve on this week is obviously with SAD Club, staying structured to my lines, make sure that my line learning is all good. But Romeo and Juliet wise, I think it is obviously one, line learning, but two, making sure that I can heighten the emotions more. I feel like obviously at the start I'm obviously rehearsing, I am giving all of my effort. As I was saying, I just need to make sure that I give all of this effort into heightening their emotions more. But that is something easily to accomplish over the weeks to do. But literally for my final thing, for literally just to make sure that I do for next week is I keep on top of all my stage manager work, make sure that I get my scripts down, because I get my stage manager script, so I need to fill the rest of that in a bit later on. Make sure that I continue with my portfolio website, starting on obviously unit 12 and 11, finishing that off. Make sure that Act 1 is nice and clean for line learning, make sure I get to Act 2, but obviously make sure that I can go around collaboratively with everyone and make sure I can do the right thing.
Yeah, I think what I need to improve on for next week is maybe lines for SAD Club, because I mean I have a really short scene, so I don't think it should be too hard to learn those by my lesson on Wednesday. Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday.
And just learn the rest of Act 1, because I know the first two scenes of it I'm in, where I know Prince's first speech, and I know Paris's first discussion, but I don't know any of the nurse's lines just yet. I know bits and pieces of it, but I know they're like a full conversation.
Yeah.
So that's the main thing I need to do, and I need to talk to the two different groups I'm in, the music and lighting, to see if we have any ideas to start out. And if I was to do this week again, everything that we've done so far, I feel as if I don't actually think I changed all that much.
No.
I mean, I could try and be a bit more focused.
What are you going to focus on for next week though, for week 2?
Again, getting my lines down.
Yeah.
Trying to be more focused in the space, because I got distracted at some points.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I definitely feel like that as well. Just trying to get back onto the board and everything.
Yeah, just be solid, be ready to take instruction.
Lovely.
And so I think when it comes to week 1, that's
pretty much it.
About it.
And we're gonna create a slogan for this.
We'll talk to you next week.
We'll talk to you next week. See you in week 2.